Candace.
And I'm Ripley.
And I'm John.
And this is Comicsplaining.
The show where I say, bless me, Father, for I have sinned, instead of, sorry, Daddy, I've been bad.
Blame John for that one.
Yeah, see, that joke was initially going to be a little more chaste. I mean, like, it was dirty, and then it was chaste, and then it came back around to dirty. But pretty much since I've been stringing everyone along on, hey, the story's gonna come eventually, it's coming soon, you just gotta hold on. Well, now the story is here, and I'm going to have to cringe my way through the entire first issue.
Oh, no. We've only heard about that. We haven't actually seen an explanation of what that means yet. And,
I have chosen to keep that quiet and not say much of anything about this issue because...
You told me several times last night that you were cringing.
Yes, that's all I've said because I want to preserve the cringe.
The experience has not been tainted.
Pickled to bring its taste.
Oh, God.
It's been aged in an oak cask.
That's for one night.
Yeah, for one night.
And one night only!
So anyway, what happened last time on X-Men?
Some things.
That wasn't the gods, was it?
No, that was the
one before it.
Genuinely do not remember.
Oh, God. We really were just kind of...
let's give you guys a hint.
It was bullshit, I remember.
You really were just kind of wandering around.
Thor was there.
Oh!
Well, in the second part. You are missing the first story, though, because there were 3 stories. 2 of them were that.
Peter's man was in that first part.
Peter's man was in the second part.
Of the second part.
What was the...
This episode, Wolverine ventilates his catcher's mitt in an impromptu game of X-Men baseball.
Oh, Smooth Colossus.
Smooth Colossus.
Oh,
how could I forget about Smooth Colossus?
A character.
The most memorable character
Yes.
who never returns.
I wonder why we forgot about him.
The smoothest Colossus ever.
I want. How could we ever forget about Smooth Colossus? You know, he's the most memorable of all characters. He's shown up
since
so
you guys
many
remember
times.
Smooth Colossus, what did Smooth Colossus do?
He trapped everyone in the danger room.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the
and
episode.
That was basically the whole issue.
Yep, that was pretty much it. And then Jean decided, okay, I'm going to actually be an X-Man because that was embarrassing.
Right, because she got fucking ganked right at the beginning.
By Smooth Colossus, yeah, you got her.
And then he never shows up again.
Yeah.
I don't think.
He returns to it. He returned to his home planet. And on the way...
Smooth Russia.
Yeah,
Smooth Colossus died on the way to his home planet.
Smooth Russia.
I like that Russia's an entire planet. Just an entire planet of tracksuits, vodka.
Smooth Russia.
Smooth. It's not regular Russia.
They're velvet tracksuits. Okay.
There you go.
Could always be velour.
So the second issue we read was a team up.
Yep.
Between Spider-Man and Havoc.
Yep.
It was not good.
No.
The Thor parts were good.
Thor was barely in the first one. He was mostly in the second one.
Yep. Well, but how did we get to this team up between...
I was about to say.
Okay.
The Living Pharaoh tried to give Alex the suck again.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man was like, that's not cool, and tried to stop it, but then, blundered his way into causing it.
Because he knocked the Pharaoh into closing the coffin that stole Alex's powers.
And thus, Alex got the suck.
Alex received the suck.
Good job, Peter. You made sure Alex got the suck.
Peter did a great job. And then the Living Pharaoh became the Living Monolith, as he does.
Yep.
And he was in his mankini.
Yep.
And then in the next issue, Thor showed up and was like, hey, what's with this giant dude walking around? And Spider-Man was like,
the giant dude who's calling himself a god.
Like,
and
well,
Thor,
there's a story behind that, actually.
Thor took beef with the fact that he was calling himself a god.
Yes, he did.
It's like, I've met the Egyptian gods.
Yeah.
You ain't one of them.
So, Thor kind of occupied the living monolith while Peter ran around doing some useless bullshit.
Including something that almost caused the living monolith to become permanent.
Including something that almost killed Havoc, yes.
Yes. That would have done both, killed Havoc and made the living monolith permanent. So good job, Peter.
They're one and the same, to be fair.
Yeah.
And ended up eventually freeing Havoc, thus defeating the living monolith. And then Thor took Havoc back to Scotland?
No, he took him off to get a ride home from his good buddy Anthony.
Oh, right.
Yes, Tony Stark is going to help him.
Okay.
Yep, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, other than the Thor stuff, it was...
forgettable.
Yeah, I don't really care what happens to Havoc. Sorry.
Actually, that last issue is going to end up being a little more relevant than y'all expect.
Fuck.
But we're going to start off this episode with X-Men 111 from March of 1978.
Heck of a cover.
Written by Chris Claremont, penciled by John Byrne, inked by Terry Austin, colored by Mary Titus, and lettered by Tom Orzechowski. We're going to be getting back to the classic X-Men versions with this one, so this is featuring some pages with pencils by Kieran Dwyer and colors by Petra Scatesi. And yeah, this cover is not actually the original cover because we're using the classic X-Men version. I really should start just pulling these up, but I don't. No new names though, and since I promised we'd get back to the story this episode, that's what we're going to do. With our first page detailing the Beast's journey from average teen to Avenger, you may now see that last episode wasn't entirely irrelevant.
Oh yeah, Beast was there.
Yeah, you guys entirely glossed over
I didn't
Beast.
think it was important.
Didn't he, answer the phone and that was it?
He answered the phone and then stole the Quinjet.
Yeah, Lorna called up and she was like, hey, the Living Pharaohs guys just stole my boyfriend again, and the X-Men aren't picking up the phone. Can you please help? And then he didn't.
No.
Then he stole a Quinjet and headed to the mansion like, that's not normal.
I thought he went to go help Lorna.
Nope. Indeed, we catch up with McCoy in an Avengers Quinjet, lost in concerned thoughts over his friends. With new lives to focus on, Hank and the X-Men have drifted apart, but with Lorna's frantic call also came a sickening pit in his stomach. The ice-cold knowledge that his friends wouldn't leave Polaris in a lurch. Leading to now as McCoy sets his purloined Quinjet down just outside of tiny Sullivan County, Texas.
It's so weird seeing him like this, because I'm so used to more artistic license about his design.
Yeah, this is kind of where he started the very classic Beast appearance. He bundles himself up tight, attempting to cover as much of his appearance as possible, not expecting a particularly warm welcome to his fur here in the heart of Texas. I also want to note here that Chris has been getting facts we've covered about Hank wrong here, and it's been bothering me.
Oh no.
We already know Hank had big hands and feet as a baby. We covered it in the Beast stories about his backstory, somewhere in issue 40 or 50 in there. I also believe we know that Hank is from the Midwest and not a New Yorker born and bred, as he asserts.
So which one is canon now?
I don't know about the hands and feet. I don't know which one's canon now. I think we do get along to him being back from being from the Midwest later.
Okay, so we can chalk this up as to Claremont being wrong, not Claremont changing the canon.
Who knows?
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Why did he go to Texas?
He was following Cerebro. He
Okay.
kind of used the sensors on the Quinjet for that. For such a tiny town, there's a good number of people wandering about, and that's because the circus is in town.
I'm sure it's perfectly fine and normal.
Judging by the cover, yeah.
The carnival barker calls out the evening's attractions to draw in the crowd, but when Beast lays sight on what the carnival has to offer, he's overcome by shock. Banshee stands at the front of the crowd, presenting the evening's events. And the posters on display sure seem like the new X-Men, or at least what Beast knows of them, since he hasn't really been around for a while.
Well,
one after another, he passes by the performers of the circus. First, the man-beast of the Yukon, who could very well be Wolverine, laying chained to a gigantic box as children peer in at him for a good look. Kind of like King Kong-esque with the chains.
Mm-hmm.
When they move along, suddenly a poof of brimstone appears. Possibly Nightcrawler, giving a young woman outside a fright. Further along his journey, Hank ashamedly watches some creeps ogle at probably Storm, making sexual comments about her. He doesn't recognize any of the new X-Men for sure, but he doesn't think Storm would put up with that.
Is this Chris being weird about Aurora?
I think that's a fair call to make.
This is kind of weird.
I agree.
Something about the situation...
Oh yeah, she's wearing, like, leopard print.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Something about the situation was very wrong. Just like back at the mansion. Mail piled up with days full of postcards from Charles and Lalandra and unread newspapers. Food lying around half-eaten in the kitchen. Cerebro entirely shut off.
Oh shit, that probably qualified as someone being shitty about Kurt's appearance.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yep.
I guess Hank must have paid Banshee his $5, because in no time he's entering the big top. Now, it strikes me that this is actually the one place Beast could probably just walk around without causing too much of a fuss, so the trench coat and fedora are really funny.
Yeah.
They're not even contemporary at this point. He's not... He looks... Where the trench coat and fedora aren't particularly stylish by now.
See, I like that, though, because when you make him a little more eccentric, he becomes more interesting and less of just, like, this weird jackass.
Because the trench coat and fedora are very 40s.
Leaning into it for him, I think, is a very good move. High above the crowd, a trapeze act holds their attention enraptured. For a brief moment, they hold their assembled breath as the star of the show, a young redhead, somersaults not once, not twice, but 3 times through the air. The trick is successful, but the timing must be off as she misses the handoff to her partner. The crowd screams, but to their relief and then elation, Ms. Destiny instead floats gently to Earth. And that confirms Hank's suspicions. These are the X-Men. But why? And so as Jean leaves the arena, Hank follows her to her trailer. When he enters, he finds Jean dolling herself up for a date with her boss, apparently. He recognizes her for sure as Jean, but Jean can't place Beast at all. And after he keeps pestering her, Jean calls for Slim to come show her visitor out. When Slim too steps into the trailer, Hank sees none other than Scott wearing a shirt helpfully labeled Slim.
Wow.
He's also looking quite a bit more buff than usual.
Yeah.
He's very ripped today. Hank probably shouldn't be as surprised as he is, given that Scott was going by Slim Summers back when Jean joined the X-Men, because Slim is a cool guy name for cool guys.
Yeah.
Wait, no, he's surprised because Scott has never been a cool guy.
Oh my god, I see the most important callback of ever.
Yep, you are correct. Well, Slim grabs Beast to knock him out of the trailer, but that's not going to go well for Scott for obvious reasons. Hurls him outside. Scott then rallies for help with a good old-fashioned carny battle cry.
Hey, Rube! Fucking classic.
Soon an endless tide of carnies flood the stage, as apparently the boss has a no-tolerance policy for snoopers. And that goes double once Beast announces he's an Avenger. Smart move number 2 here.
Uh-huh.
But after a clown pulls a gun, Beast decides it's time to hide until he has a chance to slip away.
Oh my god,
my
he
God.
pulled a gun.
He bounds off away from the brawl, further into the carnival, finally ducking into the freak show tent for a moment of respite, as Scott scours the circus grounds with his gang of carny thugs. Catching his breath, Hank weighs his options. His immediate suspicion is that there has been some mind-fuckery going on, though even now he takes a moment to doubt if those carnies really were the X-Men. How many coincidences do you fucking need?
There are other possibilities. They just get weirder than mindfuckery.
Right. That is true. They could be robots.
They could. It would not be the first time they've been robots.
Or mental projections of Charles on his vacation, whatever. He readies to slip out and call for some backup when suddenly a giant metal fist cold cocks him through the fabric of the tent.
Good job. Definitely not Colossus.
Hank's head spins as he's knocked flat.
Normal Colossus as opposed to smooth Colossus.
McCoy does his best to fight off the carnies before a still-chained Logan.
I like his comment. Anyone get the number of that Uru hammer?
Yeah, well, it makes
he's
sense.
been with the Avengers.
Yeah, he
for a
has
while.
been hanging around Thor. The man-beast of the Yukon growls in protest, but there's nothing he can do to help the injured and outnumbered Avenger. And soon Fuzzy Wuzzy is toted out of the tent and dragged off to the boss's caravan.
This is fine. This is fine.
The carnies throw Beast through the doors, where before him sits Mesmero, draped very gaily over the
Holy shit,
Wow.
fucking Mesmero? What a pull.
Okay, aren't you like a...
That's not on my bingo card.
Isn't this like a C-lister? At best?
D-lister.
And he explains how he's here
F-lister.
for revenge.
And somehow he's gotten it. He won.
Yep,
What the
he pulled
fuck?
it off. Yeah, apparently in a crowd at Grand Central Station, he managed to catch Jean Grey off guard, and then one by one hypnotized the X-Men with a moment's eye contact.
Oh my god.
How?
Frankly, if he wanted eye contact with Scott, I think all I really needed to do is ask.
Wait, I think I have this one. Someone gets mind fucked.
Yeah, yep, you do in fact have it.
I haven't gotten shit yet.
And now he has one more X-Men to add to his collection. I'm not sure what his end goal here is. Move along to the Avengers next, as the carnies outside seem to suspect.
He's not competent enough to have an end goal.
Use his revenge on the X-Men to fund an opulent life as a circus owner.
I mean, there's business, there's that money in the circus industry. Usually crime money, but there's money in it.
Open a competing circus of crime.
Hey, if you have the X-Men running your circus of crime,
They're probably going to be more competent than
the
circus of crime.
Yeah, maybe buy the circus of crime and have the bigger circus of crime featuring the X-Men.
He meets Hank's eyes, doing his best to enrapture him. But Mesmero might be a bit overextended. For as he adds one X-Man, he's starting to struggle with another. Back in the freak tent, Logan strains against his chains and finally breaks free. He then ambushes a carny taking a leak to demand answer.
Oh my god.
I mean, he could just be standing with his hands on his hips, but that's not what I'm seeing here. Like, his hand has shifted too far
Yeah,
forward.
I'll give you that.
I think he's taken a leak.
I'll give you that, which means he's probably not...
No, he's holding a gun. See in that second panel?
Oh,
he has a
yeah,
gun.
he's holding a gun.
Oh, okay.
Well, one way or another, he's taking
well,
the
maybe
piss
he's
now.
also...
He's holding a gun and also another gun.
He is definitely peeing himself.
This is my rifle, this is my gun.
Well, the important thing is, now that he has Wolverine's
Is that a
claws,
gun in your pocket?
This is for fighting, this is for fun.
Or are you happy to see me? He's very happy to see Wolverine.
He's very happy to see Wolverine. Off in Jean's caravan, she's getting ready for her date with the boss, chatting with
Ooh.
Scott about... Yeah, don't think about that too much, right? And she's chatting with Scott about her unease over the whole encounter with Beast. Unlike Beast, Wolverine isn't polite enough to use the door, instead tearing through the wall of the trailer with his claws.
Wolverine is a tough guy for no reason.
Fair.
He went through a door. Come on.
He went through the wall.
He didn't need to do that.
He did not. Jean is just as frozen scared as she was with Beast, while Scott attempts to come to her defense. Logan just decks him, grabbing Jean by the scarf while he tries to slap some sense into her. By the reasoning that he broke free by tapping into instinct, he slaps Jean once and then backhands her a second time, hoping that if he pisses her off enough, it'll get her to snap out of it. It works, but Logan gets a little more than he bargained for as the Phoenix lashes out with her powers, hurling him across the room. Given how durable he is, he's fine, and they can get to work freeing the rest of the X-Men.
I think that the Phoenix is making Jean weird.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, that is kind of... Don't you hit me, little man. Don't you ever hit me like that again.
I mean, Jean has a temper.
She does, but that doesn't sound like Jean.
But that
or
is
the mind
over the
control.
top. And she was surprised by her reaction.
Yeah.
I think that's the Phoenix talking.
Well, hopefully that freedom also goes for former X-Men as well, because Hank McCoy is having a bad day.
Mm-hmm.
Mesmero unleashes his hypnotism on him with all his strength, but still Beast struggles.
How?
Suddenly, another of the carnies bursts through the door, alarmedly warning the boss that the X-Men have broken loose and are tearing shit up. The distraction causes Mesmero's concentration to slip, and it's enough to allow Beast to break free, crashing the men holding him into one another and then turning on Mesmero. The villain reacts in fear, edging back as Beast surges forward, but he continues shrinking back, even after Beast suddenly collapses. Outside, the X-Men are back to their usual selves, and they're pretty pissed off about the goings-on of the past couple weeks.
They got their clothes.
Because this has been going on for weeks.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
Yeah, again, try not to think too hard about that one.
It's too late.
The carnies try to keep the X-Men contained, but they're getting pretty soundly trounced. The X-Men don't kill any of them, but they don't particularly care too much about fucking them up.
Where's Chuck?
On vacation with Lalandra.
Oh, right.
That's why he was sending postcards.
Okay, never mind.
But yeah, I don't think they're too worried about fucking them up. Consider what might happen if you were to blast a pistol in someone's hand.
Yeah, that might. Hey, Slim. That could have exploded that man's hand.
Who cares? The motherfucker pulled a gun on him.
That's fair.
He had
That's
it
fair.
coming.
That's fair. Like these guns explode in their hands, and maybe they lose a limb.
They make short work of the carnies and head for the caravan to deal with the boss man himself. When they step through the door, Mesmero stands over the unconscious Beast, but when asked by Cyclops whether he wants to do things the easy way or the hard way, he instead opts to collapse forward on top of Beast.
What the fuck?
Oh my god.
From the shadows of the caravan, the man Mesmero was so afraid of turns in his chair, letting Scott know he's got bigger fish to fry. At which time we learn that Scott has still not taught the X-Men how to deal with Magneto.
Oh no.
Though we do at least get a little more of the reasoning here, it's seeming to be that since he hasn't taught the X-Men how to deal with Magneto because they are not ready to be dealing with Magneto. And yet here we are, for a second time, dealing with Magneto.
Lennon's ghost.
Good going, champ. So how'd y'all rate that?
I am thinking about how long they were enthralled and concerned by things.
Alright, well, how would you rate that, though?
I don't know. I mean, it wasn't a terrible story, even if it had some...
It was very skeevy, but a lot of the skeeviness was the point.
Yeah, that, Mesmero is a skeevy D-lister who won
I'd give it
one.
a 2, personally. It was fine.
2.5? Maybe 3?
How do you think CMRO rated it?
Higher.
I'm going to take the score from the original issue for this one because a lot of people have a low base rating for these classic X-Men stories on account of them mostly being repeats, and it is 3.8 out of 5.
Wow, almost a 4.
That's a lot.
We're going to stick with the main storyline here and circle back to our B stories later in the episode, so
Okay.
we're moving on along to X-Men 118, written by Chris Claremont, penciled by John Byrne, inked by Terry Austin, colored by Mary Titus, and lettered by Bruce Patterson, featuring some pages with pencils by Kieran Dwyer and colors by Petra Scatesi.
So, no one thought Magneto was dead, right?
No, he wasn't dead last time.
Okay.
They just ran away.
Okay. Just making sure, because a return from the dead is a square.
No, he came back last time.
Although he might be a drama queen, we'll see.
He was already a drama queen.
Oh,
Yeah, he was definitely
Okay.
a drama
He was
queen.
That's
hiding in
fair.
a dark corner
That's-
and then turned around in his chair
I
like
will-
an evil fucking
Yeah, that's
mob
fair.
boss.
If you think that is the height of his dramatics,
I didn't say it was the height. I said it was dramatic.
He already qualifies as a drama
I know,
queen.
all I'm saying is he is definitely gonna one-up that. We pick up where we left off, Magneto keeping it cool, calm, and collected, confident that he's going to beat all the X-Men. And
Well,
yet,
they don't know how to fight him, so,
So
that tracks.
That's fair. And they have a man made of metal, and versus the man who controls metal.
They have 2 men made of metal.
So, I'm going to give it to Magneto just on principle if they don't have a clue what to do against him.
for a tense
Wow.
moment, no one moves, all sizing each other up. Magneto is radiating power to the extent that not only can Banshee feel it coming off him, but is actually causing some interference with Phoenix's telepathy.
Ooh, he's been on a training.
You know, if all else fails, he could always just bludgeon everyone with Colossus.
Performance-enhancing drugs, you think?
I don't think bludgeoning them with Colossus works, because Colossus can stop being made of metal.
That's true.
Bludgeon them with Wolverine. He can't stop being made of metal.
And he got claws.
He's sharp.
He can make the claws go away, but he can't stop being made of the stuff.
I mean, if he makes them go away, Magneto can just make them not go away.
True! He could marionette Wolverine and just stab everyone.
Colossus is a baseball bat, but Wolverine is a baseball bat with nails in it.
Yes. And Magneto...
But it's a slightly smaller baseball bat.
That is the
Slightly. Significantly smaller baseball bat.
Beast's plan is to make a beeline for the door and call in help from the Avengers. And Virgin Nightcrawler, taking that certainty for confidence, finds himself wanting when compared to the Chad Beast in his head.
Oh my god.
Wolverine, having learned nothing, is still like, if I cut him, he bleeds.
Yeah,
No,
if. That's a very big
I
if.
changed my mind how I was doing this voice. It's like, if I cut him, he bleeds, eh?
There we go.
I will say, Wolverine is correct in principle, but that if is doing a lot of heavy lifting there, bub.
A lot of legwork.
Storm worries about how far they're going to have to take this fight to beat Magneto, while Piotr wonders why they always have to waste their energy fighting amongst themselves anyway.
He's right.
And the big man himself isn't as confident as he's trying to appear, hoping to measure himself against the X-Men.
Well, hey, he knows he'd be up against a significant number of talented mutants.
And they've got some heavy hitters. Logan's the first to move, pissed off about Magneto's gloating. He's still mad that Scott made them leave, even after that helped them save the fucking universe. He is still mad about that. And he still finds himself restrained by his friends, unable to attain the desperately wanted ass-kicking that he would receive.
Amazing.
Mags is just like, oh, let him fuck around and find out, huh? But Cyclops doesn't want them to be baited into a fight, and instead orders Nightcrawler to scope out the situation ahead of them because they're leaving. Nightcrawler bamps away, but a mere moment later, the X-Men hear him cry out in alarm.
Ororo, that's pretty obvious. I'm not sure anyone else in Texas is going, Arc-9!
Well, you never know.
Oh, that's another language.
It is. Colossus, the closest to the door, opts to tear the thing off the caravan rather than just turning the knob, shocked to see not the carnival, but the edge of Earth's atmosphere as the trailer soars through the sky.
The wooden trailer?
Yep, leaving him lost for words for a moment before Kurt, clinging to the caravan stairs, helpfully reminds Piotr to get him the fuck inside!
Yeah. He spent a panel not doing that.
I'm sure there's plenty of metal inside it to lift it by. Wheel axles, for one.
Unless he now controls wood.
Now with all the X-Men safely inside the ride vehicle, Logan's getting antsy again, swallowing every bit of bait that Magneto is laying out before him. He lunges, claws out to take a swing at Magneto, but is again prevented from doing so by Scott, though this time a good deal more physically than the last time he made him stop fighting Magneto.
Wolverine, stop being a tough guy for no reason. You've already done it.
I think there's a reason. They're fighting Magneto.
Yeah. Well, Scott's bodily restraining Wolverine, doing his best to get his teammate to see sense they are miles in the fucking air. They don't have enough flyers to catch them all, and without Magneto, they also don't have fucking air or heat, so jot that one down, idiot. The way Chris writes Scott's asking why really doesn't let me hear it without a sigh. Just like, why? Like, just so defeated. Okay, we're here.
Why us?
Fucking why?
Why now?
Why are we doing this? Magneto has presumably been just itching for the moment he gets to explain how he got here, and gleefully takes the opportunity, explaining that after the X-Men left, he didn't follow them to continue trouncing them because he had stuff to do. Honest. He had to go fight Captain America and Dr. Doom. That's it. But when he finally got done with his errands and got back to the whole kill the X-Men item that's been gathering cobwebs on his to-do list for years now.
He just remembered he left the oven on.
Oh my god. That's what happened.
He had to go pick up some milk at the store.
In Texas.
Well, no, that's not why he's in Texas. He actually did come to the X-Mansion, but there was no one home. Before he had a chance to pick through the mail, warm up a microwave meal, maybe turn on the TV a little while, Beast shows up. And so when he left, Magneto decided, well, he's probably looking for the X-Men, so I'm just going to follow him.
Oh god, Magneto really would have just set up camp in their home for a day or two.
I mean, it's not like he hasn't done it before.
Okay, but what if they walk in on him, like, taking a shower?
Or better yet, he's in a
taking
robe.
A nap, and he's completely unprepared for their arrival.
Fingers covered in Cheeto dust.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just picture him wearing a robe.
As we have established, Magneto loves the circus. And so, as usual, doesn't bother to change clothes, even though he's an internationally known terrorist.
And he's wearing his evil outfit, and nobody seems to care that much.
Yep. If it's not broke, don't fix it, because no one paid any attention to him while he laid his beat down on the Beast. And so then he went and trounced Mesmero and sat in the shadows waiting to turn around in his chair because he's a dramatic bitch.
Yeah.
Psyche, for one, is baffled why Magneto would do his good buddy Mesmero like that, and Mags is like, I have never met this man in my entire life.
I don't even know the man.
Oh my god.
And the Magneto who said he was Lorna's dad was a robot. Magneto says this, by the way, and over in the corner, Maury tears his notes in two because if a robot said it, it has to be lies.
Wow.
Let us not question at all why Magneto knows about this in the first place.
That's a good question. Why do you know that?
Lorna's just out on help boards like, I'm having conflicted feelings about my father.
Yeah.
Have learned some facts about my birth father, not psyched.
Yeah. I, 23 female, have learned that my father,
is an internationally known
87 male, is an international terrorist.
Who has also de-aged multiple times.
Well,
Am I the asshole?
As the caravan continues its journey over the Amazon rainforest, it picks up a tailing military jet. Do you know what that one is?
Oh god, is that...
It's a plane.
Is that an F5?
I'm not confident. What I think is it's a P-80 or its trainer variant, the T-33, which I think is more likely.
It's one of those early tube jets, though.
Yeah, I think it's a T-33.
Like, I don't recognize it, but it's definitely a style of plane they actually made, unlike a lot of the Stan era.
Yeah, I think this is one of the family of the P-80 because there's a trainer variant, which the other two, the F-94 and the P-80, were both kind of retired by the of this publishing, but these stayed in service until the 90s. So that's why I think it's that.
Also, considering where we are, someone knows they're playing nerd stuff.
I think we've established that. Control down below is demanding answers on this thing flying through their airspace.
I mean, that's fair. That's actually, they're valid.
They've got a UFO, man.
They're valid for wanting to know why a weather balloon is flying through their country.
Yeah, that was shockingly timely.
We've only shot down 4 of them.
God damn, the past couple days. And the pilots take a long moment like, hey, do you want to tell him, or should I?
Should I? Going to be able to explain that there's a,
Yeah, they're finally like, yeah, so you know those old-timey circus caravans? Well, yeah, picture one of them, only it's going real fucking fast.
You know, it's going like 0.8 Mach, and
It's going faster than us, and they just threw a guy out of the back.
Well, hey.
See you later, Mesmero.
You were a D-list.
So long, space cowboy.
The assumedly Brazilian military then transes the sky, following Mesmero's gentle descent down to the earth.
They do. It's the colors and everything.
It's the fucking chemtrails. That's where all the chemicals they're putting in the water to make the fucking frogs guy come from.
They're making the frogs trans. Come on.
They were already gay.
Exactly. Now they're trans.
And the pilots follow Mesmero's gentle descent down to Earth with the plan to get absolutely blasted drunk as soon as they touch down.
God.
I don't blame them.
On board the wagon, Aurora is outraged at Magneto's callous actions, throwing Mesmero out the back to become chunky marinara on the ground below.
Aurora, if you knew this man, you would understand this is not the worst thing he's
He's
done.
been mind controlling them for weeks.
And Mags just rolls his eyes like, oh my god, chill, I'm guiding him down.
He's being way nicer than he has to be. And in fact, why isn't Logan saying, why are you guiding him down? Let him die.
And then there's this noted just long, awkward silence where no one is talking for the rest of the trip.
There's a silence now grim and uncomfortable as the wagon moves further and further south, lands in at Cape Horn, giving way to the storm-swept waters of the... Oh no, we're going to the Savage Lands.
Maybe. Okay, so Magneto's gonna take you to his evil lair, right? Tell me what you think it is and how he's going to make his entrance. You're not gonna guess this correctly, but I want to hear it.
Giant magnet.
Giant magnet, okay?
I mean, all I've got is they're going to the Savage Lands.
Okay. Underwhelming predictions, but okay.
A giant statue of himself holding 2 giant magnets.
Okay, that's better. So Magneto continues the wagon's journey, hauling ass
What the
south
fuck?
towards Antarctica before flying the wagon into the crater of an active volcano.
As you do.
Protected in a ball of magnetic force before exploding the wagon to pieces as the roof closes above them.
Oh
I didn't see any metal in that. What?
The nails.
I guess. Yes.
Just fling all the nails out and it just explodes.
It's important to note, though, that he has more than one of these giant underground volcano bases.
Oh my god.
Why did we? Oh.
Where is he getting the money from?
I have a space called 2 panels hint of irons in the fire. I think more than one of these underground bases in 2 panels.
I don't know if that's irons in the fire so much as it is things that are happening right now, presently.
Yeah, I don't think so. I'm not buying that one. As the X-Men all thump onto the floor, I guess Scott tucks and rolls because he's immediately in motion, catching Magneto in the gut with a blast. And with Colossus right there on hand, he orders him to take him down. Piotr makes a noble effort, but being the most yeetable man on the team, he is yoked.
Yes.
For Beast, he hits him with the static electricity and the fuzzball gets a hell of a jolt.
Jesus.
Aurora is conflicted. Should she fully let go, she could kill Magneto.
Do it.
But she's sworn not to kill.
Damn it.
She still hits him with a hell of a blizzard, though, and it is a doozy of a hit, but holding back was a mistake. Magneto taunts that she might have pulled it off if she hadn't held back, but hitting him with the cold without finishing the job just made his magnetism more effective, because magnets do work better in the cold.
Oh, yeah.
And he blasts her out of the fight as well.
A living superconductor? Really?
Can I put Piotr as a himbo? I don't know, because Scott literally told him to.
I don't think that's fair, because Scott did tell him to do it.
Alright, fair enough.
I get why Scott did it, though, because he was right there.
Yeah.
Nightcrawler watches their scrap from a perch in the shadows, deciding to go for a sneak attack. He jumps down at Mags, but Mags catches him in midair, flinging Kurt up into the air at the same time he pulls Piotr down. Peter changes back to his human form just before they collide, spinning around to take the brunt of the landing as well.
Ooh.
Banshee takes his turn at bat, screaming in at Mags, though when he sees those iron flakes forming up in the air again, he just screams them away because he doesn't want to deal with that shit again.
Yeah.
And then Magneto bends the scream back at him somehow. I don't fucking know.
Scream bending.
Scream bending!
Secondary mutation. Whatever. Cyclops steps in, really annoyed with how this fight has gone, how they've all gone one-on-one, but maybe it wouldn't have gone this badly if you'd have taught him how to fight Magneto, boy.
He's only your most dangerous opponent.
That you've been dealing...
Thought you would have brought it up, especially after the last time that you realized you didn't teach them how to fight him.
And he wasn't dead.
Scott blasts Magneto, but Mags knows how to shield himself from that, also yoinking some equipment over to smack Psyche in the back out of the fight. Magneto counts one X-Men left, but she's a doozy. Phoenix hits him with an onslaught of power, beating Magneto back as she revels in the glory of the Phoenix song.
Oh boy.
And the fact that Magneto actually looks scared. Something that has never happened by her count.
Well, that's because everyone who could take him out has held back. Until now.
He's not giving up, though. Not fleeing. Fighting back with everything he has in him. Jean, though, still isn't really sure of her limits. Sure, the Phoenix saved the universe, but that was more like an instinctive Phoenix at the wheel kind of thing. What are her capabilities
Phoenix,
out in the
take
field?
The wheel.
It's unclear how well she's going to do with this, but here at the poles of the Earth, even the Phoenix is struggling against his magnetic abilities. And then suddenly the well runs dry, and Magneto is somehow draining her life force until Jean falls unconscious.
Huh.
You may have noticed something through this fight. Magneto apparently went to the Valve School of Counting. He gloats over having defeated 8 X-Men, when he has indeed only defeated 7.
Wah, wah.
If not for fate, he would have been slashed by Wolverine's claws, but at the right moment, he moves, leaving only his cape in tatters. And with Magneto's attention now fixed on Wolverine, it's a trifle to first threaten Logan with his own claws, and then stop hitting yourself him into unconsciousness.
Wow. So when we were talking about using Wolverine as a spiked baseball bat, that wasn't even...
No, that was not a joke.
That was
no,
something...
I knew it wasn't a joke.
That's something we could have very much seen if Magneto wanted them dead.
Absolutely. I love fucking Magneto. He just schooled the X-Men, old and new, including the Phoenix, while telling them exactly how he was doing it. That's that extra bit of flair sitting there telling them how he's beating their asses. Love it. When the X-Men come to, they're strapped into a semicircle of chairs.
I'm just going to give Magneto as a drama queen out for a second time.
Doesn't count twice.
It doesn't count twice, but he's getting it twice.
When the X-Men come to, they're strapped into a semicircle of chairs, in the middle of which stands Magneto, who has decided it is story time.
And also has decided to have a weird robot made.
Yep. He's mad this time because he's still bent out of shape over Alpha and Charles Xavier turning him into a baby.
Mm-hmm.
And so he decided he was going to get his vengeance, but as he stewed, he decided that just killing them wasn't enough. No, he wanted to go for the ironic fate.
Turn them into babies.
Yep. He's brought them a nanny bot to take care of them.
Oh my god, I was joking.
Hello, Magneto? Sir, this is bordering on a fetish scene.
And the chairs, they leave them unable to move or really speak in any effective way, rendering them helpless as children. Mwahaha. How do you rate that?
I'm trying to process.
Oh God, I didn't rate the last one, did I?
No.
3. It was really cringy.
I'm trying to process his whole...
There's a lot of silly shit, but I'm gonna give it a 4 because that was really fun. Magneto in top form.
That's true. Magneto was pretty good.
He could have done the things we thought he could have done, which is actually...
He just made it look so fucking effortless.
I will say that this is the thing that makes Claremont so different from some of the earlier stuff we've gone through. When we think of these things these characters with these powers can do, they never do them because that would be too reasonable and rational. Whereas Claremont's out here saying, well, if Magneto wanted to use Logan as a spiked bat...
I love using Piotr as a fucking weapon against his friends.
Which he did do.
That was great.
So I'm at a 4.
Yeah, I guess I'll also give it a 4. You talked me into it.
I did scratch off Magneto as a drama queen twice for this. So yeah, it's getting a 4.
How do you think CMRO rated it?
2.
Nah, 4.12. They're right here with us.
Oh, damn.
Good.
For once.
Yep. Now we can finally get back to those B stories. So let's go back to the B story from Classic X-Men 17 from September of 1987. Written by Chris Claremont, penciled and inked by John Bolton, colored by Petra Scatesi, and lettered by Tom Orzechowski. Watch out, boys. This is a skeevy one.
Oh, boy.
For Jean Grey, a walk down a busy street is a fun diversion. But for the Phoenix, it's a much more overwhelming experience. With her increased sensitivity to the onrush of thoughts, just to cope, she's had to effectively tamp down her telepathic skills to bare minimum.
Ooh.
But that means that when Mesmero strikes, Jean never sees it coming.
Oh no, now we have to start thinking about the things we weren't supposed to think about.
She is wearing a formal-length dress and Nikes.
I think it's more like a sundress and Nikes. I think it's a really cute outfit.
But
I
those
don't
are
know.
definitely
The
Nikes.
combination was just very jarring for some reason. But they are definitely Nikes.
Yes, they are explicitly Nikes.
Dig those Air Force Ones.
A rush of hypnosis, and she's his to command.
Oh, dear.
Oh, you said don't think too hard about that,
Yeah.
and yet we're going to be forced to.
No, now it's time to think about it.
Great.
Hmm.
Can't wait.
He leads Jean away to a luxury hotel room full of scantily clad women tending to Mesmero's every desire.
You know, I swear I know a character just like this who's known as the Purple Man.
I am really uncomfortable with the fact that that is a helmet and not his head.
Why?
I don't know. That's
I
just
feel like
I just thought he was a weird Cobra man.
No, he's a green man who wears
He's just
a
a
Cobra
green
helmet.
man.
Soon
Oh, God.
Jean Grey
Oh, boy.
joins the ladies, clad in lingerie and telling him everything he wants to hear, at his request, of course. But when he commands her to act, to come to him, Jean freezes up. He tries again, but as he draws nearer, the Firebird of the Phoenix forms up around her as if to defend Jean. Mesmero then pouts to himself for a little while, before coming up with a plan to instead use Jean to enact his vengeance.
Jesus Christ, you really were. You really are a D-lister who is horrible. Just horrible.
They strike in the morning. A tired Kurt is preparing to make pancakes when a leather-clad Jean leads Mesmero in to catch his eye.
Oh, God.
Sean, too, just stumbles onto the scene, skimming over the morning paper as he walks. With Jean in his pocket, Mesmero's nigh unstoppable. The Phoenix touches her teammates' minds one by one. She catches Piotr as he brushes his teeth. Scott is startled out of a dream right before he's compromised. Aurora is watering her plants when she feels the caress of Jane's thoughts. At the last moment, Aurora realizes something's wrong and reflexively calls down a bolt of lightning, but that's the last of her resistance. Logan spots the fireworks while he's out jogging. Logan in exercise shorts is really funny to me.
I love his
The
tank
short
top,
shorts.
short shorts, and cowboy hat combo.
I think it's perfect.
It's wonderful.
frankly. I love Logan in exercise shorts. It's really funny. He dashes for the house, knowing Aurora wouldn't be causing such a light show without cause, ignoring all the time she's caused such a light show with as weak a cause as I wanted to take a shower in my attic room.
Right.
But back in the house is exactly where Mesmero wants Logan too. And with a claw of the Phoenix Force, he's quickly yoinked inside and hypnotized just like the rest.
Jingle.
Psych!
Oh,
Wow.
Yep. He was faking them out, but Mesmero just has the rest of the X-Men open up on him, dunking Wolverine into the pool. Colossus fishes him out of the drink just to hurl him into a tree.
and he lost his shirt.
Yep. One by one, his friends give him the smackdown, as Mesmero explains that he's made them all see their most hated enemies instead of a dear friend. But after a while of this, Mesmero's bored of it all. At his command, all of the X-Men but Logan collapse in a heap on the ground, but Logan's not far behind them. A few moments later, he topples over, assumedly from the exhaustion of it all. Inside the mansion, Mesmero throws another fucking temper tantrum because now he doesn't know what to do with his new X-Men. But when he sees a photo from Nightcrawler's circus days,
Oh my god.
an idea, the circus scheme was
You
born.
Fucking uninteresting,
Wow.
bland motherfucker. Can't come up with your own fucking ideas.
You never thought you'd make it this far.
I mean, consider though, if you can have anything you want at any time, how easy would it be to just become a petulant child who doesn't have to think of anything, doesn't have to try hard for anything, and so has entirely not earned.
But he literally never thought he'd get this far.
Yeah. So how do you rate that?
Oh my... the thing we were not supposed to be thinking about
Yeah.
happened.
Too.
Yeah, no, I really, really hate this. I mean, like, there's stuff I enjoy. Honestly,
I mean,
Mesmero not knowing what to do with all the power is really fun, but that's like the only fun element in this, and it's drenched in oil.
I mean, let me play devil's advocate in that this perfectly spells out just how skeevy
This
Mesmero
motherfucker is.
Yes! He's so skeevy, so gross, so disgusting. That the stuff that was just implied before is now
I think that's also
text.
something to consider about how having that temptation might affect you. It's like, when you look at Chuck's kind of god complex, it also makes a certain degree of sense when you consider what he's working with, how he must view the world. I can see projecting that out on Mesmero.
And Chuck
how
is
that might
so much better at it, too. So that kind of makes you wonder.
Well, he does a different thing, though.
He does. But what he can do is so much more dangerous.
How did you rate it?
Oh, God. Like, I think this deserves a high score because of how well it sells, how gross this terrible little man is.
That's fair.
And it is disgusting. And that's and I consider that an achievement.
I mean, that's kind of the point.
Yeah. That is the point. That is the text of this. This is supposed to disgust you. And it does. And in that...
It skeeves me out in all the wrong ways for personal reasons, so...
that is fair, but I think that was its point.
Oh, I absolutely can understand the
which
reading of this from...
Is why I want to give it a 4, because that is an intent. It was intended to skeeve us.
I can understand how you'd get there.
And it worked. It's skeevy as...
How do you think CMRO rated it?
I have no earthly idea.
That's a good question.
3.01.
So they split the difference.
Yep, pretty much. Lastly, we have the B story from Classic X-Men 18 from October of 1987, written by Mary Jo Duffy, penciled and inked by John Bolton.
Not that John Bolton.
Maybe that John Bolton.
It would be funner. We would live in a much more interesting world if it was that John Bolton.
We're gonna live in the world where this is Schrodinger's John Bolton, and we don't know which one he is ever.
We don't want to know.
Because we don't look.
We don't want to know if it's that John Bolton. It would be less fun if we knew.
So long as we don't know, this could be any John Bolton. Colored by Petrus Katesi and lettered by Tom Orzechowski. Mary Jo's our only new name this episode, so what's up with her? She had a pretty noteworthy career at the time, pretty prolific in the 80s. She did the longest run on Power Man and Iron Fist, but her career is mostly the interesting stuff at that point, nothing really outside of that. But after she pretty much drifted away from the comics industry a little bit, she also wrote the English script adaptations of Naruto.
Oh, okay.
So you're familiar with Miss Duffy's work.
That's a twist. That is a twist. I'm glad she's not just a person who exists. Because women in comics...
So she's the one who brought us Believe It?
Probably.
Oh god, she is. No, that is a manga adaptation thing. Oh no, not a manga, an anime adaptation thing. Oh no. Oh no, she gave us Believe It. Fuck.
Jean Grey sits alone along the waterfront, tending to a small campfire in front of her tent, unaware that she's being watched. She needs some space to herself to deal with her new existence away from her peers. But her observer pulls a hunting knife from its holster.
Ooh.
Readying to brew a cup of coffee, Jean ducks under her attacker's tackle by sheer chance.
Oh my god.
What the fuck?
And while he recovers, by the time he's turned around again, he faces not Jean, but the Phoenix. Also, the attacker is Logan.
Logan, are you being a creep about Jean?
No, in fact. He came here following after her after she tried to slink out of sight to figure out what's up, and also to test how good she really was. Also kind of explaining, almost like bragging, how he did so good. He kept his thoughts at their most instinctive as he could so she wouldn't recognize them as human. And he pulled a knife so she wouldn't hear his claws, and he was so super sneaky. But unfortunately his partner in crime wasn't, and she caught him because Banshee wasn't keeping his thoughts so locked down.
Oh my
God damn it.
Because when I'm in a self-appointed stealth mission, the one motherfucker I want in my pocket is fucking Banshee.
The guy who screams.
Scream man. Scream
His
man.
power is screaming. Stealthy is not a word I would use to describe him.
She yoinks Banshee out of the tree to join them, and her friends explain a little better what the deal is. They appreciate she's struggling with her powers, though she explains that her fear is really more of losing control of that power or letting herself do something really extreme in these ever-intensifying displays of it.
I'm putting down Wolverine as a tough guy for no reason, but
I already had that from earlier.
Yeah, he did tear through the wall of the trailer. Banshee points out that she didn't hurt them, and Logan also makes the salient point that isolating herself will only leave her fighting with the power herself, and that's probably not going to go so hot. Jean then offers some coffee to the boys, holding out a pot for Sean while she collects some water. To the men's alarm, though, they see that what she has picked up is the entire lake's worth of water. She then explains that the raw power makes such a thing effortlessly simple. But it's the matter of fine control she's come here to work on. Wolverine doesn't see this as too useful in the field, though, where there are distractions. In a tree up above, Kurt bamps into existence, startling Jean before springing at her.
Okay, Kurt, that's trolling. That's definitely Kurt trolling.
That is Kurt trolling. Instinctively, Jean reacts, throwing the lake's worth of water at him.
Oh my god.
Rip Kurt!
Kurt bamps out of the way, but now the forest is full of fucking water.
Good job.
Sean then reminds her that this is kind of exactly the sort of thing that she wanted to do. And so she does, collecting all of the water in the air before dunking it back in the lake.
Hopefully she got all of the fish?
Yeah, I was about to say rip to that ecosystem.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we have a solution for dinner.
There.
So that's the end of the issue. That was the entire thing. That was the whole point of that story.
Alright.
That was kind of silly.
How do you rate it?
2.
Yeah, I'm giving it a 2.
2. There was no story. There was nothing, and things just happened for no reason and continued happening for no reason. It's pretty disappointing.
Especially considering the last one made me feel things.
Yeah, repulsion.
Yeah, no, it worked. It actually worked. So I'm giving that one. That's why I gave it a 4.
Yeah.
It wanted to make me feel gross. At least I hope it wanted to make me feel gross. I'm pretty sure that was the point of it. But
I think so.
I would assume so.
What do you think CMRO thought of that?
I mean, this could be a lighthearted jaunt, but not enough.
I think also a 2.
They gave it a little better than us. They said 2.87, but it didn't breach the 3s.
Okay.
I don't think it's worthy of a 3. I really don't.
No.
No, you almost got that with a misunderstanding fight. Yeah.
Not this time. No one wins X-Men Bingo today. And
I never got anything for the last time I won.
Yeah. Well, nobody sent us any suggestions for what the winner of Bingo should get.
That's not my fault.
I mean, technically,
you didn't send me any suggestions.
You didn't send any suggestions.
I'm on the podcast. I'm not a listener.
Anyway, that's going to be it for us
Start
this
listening.
week. That's our last issue for the week, so let us know if you were Magneto and you were going to come and impress your villains, what would be your Magneto villain hideout, and how would you make your dramatic bitch entrance? Email us over at comicsplaining@gmail.com. We'll read it on the air. I want to hear all of your fantasy Magneto hideouts.
So, like, I don't think Magneto has heavy industry experience. No matter how good he is with metal, he needs to know what he's making, right?
We don't know what Magneto knows outside of Magnetoing, really.
True.
We have touched on very little of his life apart from that.
The Holocaust.
That terrifying, that very sad Holocaust and Soviet Union story.
Yeah, and those wouldn't even be known at the time of the original.
Yeah, so we don't know, we know fuck all about Magneto at this point.
Yeah, basically.
Maybe he does have that experience. You don't know.
It's possible. It is possible. He might know how to build massive structures because he was trained by Soviet engineers.
We have a video version of the show over on YouTube where we show little clips of the stuff we're talking about. Let us know down in the comments what you think about the story with Mesmero. Was it self-indulgent skeevy horse shit from Chris? Was the point that this is what that power might do to you? Do you have some other suggestion? Let us know down in the comments. like, subscribe, hit the bell button. You want to hit us up over on social media. We are on Tumblr, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. If you want to support the show, we are over on Patreon, where we just put out our Super Bowl special. Fun fact, we are recording this during the Superb Owl.
Oh.
Super Bowl Sunday.
It did just dawn on me that with what I know about Chris, it could be a little bit of category A and a little bit of category B.
6 of one, half dozen of the other.
Yeah, a bit of self-indulgence, and you're supposed to feel gross about it.
You launched into this ending very fast, but I did want to note before we wrap up that we remembered that Ant-Man is coming out.
I remembered that Ant-Man was coming
John remembered that Ant-Man was coming out. So next episode, we're going to be talking about Ant-Man. And then the episode after that is going to be our Season 1 retrospective. So the next episode is the Season 1 finale. But the episode after that is going to be the retrospective that we were talking about.
Yes.
Ant-Man just happened to come out next week.
Yeah, we all forgot.
We did, in fact, forget.
Keeping an eye on it.
I mean, the thing is, even if we hadn't forgot, it would have always clashed.
Yeah, $3 over on coffee if you want, but the biggest thing you can do, rate and review, tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell your teacher, tell your boss, don't tell your boss, please don't tell your boss. Anyway, we're going to be back at you next week with our Season 1 finale, and we look forward to talking to you then. Bye!
Bye!